Well, good morning, good morning. How are you? How are you? Really? I don't care what part of the country you're in. I just want to know how you're doing. Well, the sun is out again. This is my last day on showing these flowers. I'm going to show them again. I went and got some new ones. I picked them. These are the last of what's out there. I mean, they got some, but they're too high up for me to get. But I just wanted to share these with you again, just to let you know that I love you, and they smell so good. And good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope your morning is going well. I am. I've been up a while and just had some things on my mind that I wanted to discuss. You know. By the way, my name is Sandy Winborn, and I'm glad to be here with you and hoping your morning is not only going well, but you're glad to be here with me in this space. And so I just want to say that this is a time of what I call look back, look up, look forward. Uh, that means asking for God's help, and then, whatever else we can have along the way that certainly would say that our hearts are pleased, that we're comfortable in who we are and what we're going to do going forward. Good morning. Good morning, Linnell. So I'm excited. I'm excited about today. And today I'm talking about love. You know, all of us want it. All of us need it. Some of us chase it. Some of us run from it. Uh, and it's hard sometimes to even imagine that you're in a position of being in love or finding love or even acknowledging like that you need to get away from that love, because sometimes our love can be what I would call overwhelming, because it consumes us and we're almost left with like we're lethargic. We can't do anything else because, and that's usually at the beginning. Doesn't always run into it being a regular. But I think I think everyone is blessed if they've known it, and not just the love of a romantic love. I'm talking about the love of people, the love of your children, your family, your job, some of those things you can have great love for. You enjoy doing it. You enjoy being in the presence of whatever it is that you're doing. And so I thought this morning I would really look at the fact that I saw a lot of love yesterday. I saw, our country and other countries, they were really looking at the whole concept of what love can do. It certainly can bring people together. It can make them deal with hard issues. It can make them, hold hands, even though it says we should be social distancing. It says that they will, come together and sit next to each other close and give hugs. And I was like looking at all of that, and I certainly said my prayer is that it will not be that people ultimately will end up with the coronavirus, because of the fact that there was a need to be social yesterday for at George Floyd's funeral, and all of the, well, I guess it was his first memorial, and I guess he's really being funeralized in Texas. But anyway, it was good to see that. You know, there is so much hatred in the world that when you can give love and you see love, you can acknowledge love, and then of course you are a recipient of love, and then you give it, then the world is good. It's a good world. I'm gonna ask you this morning: are you stuck? Yes, we are all stuck. We're all stuck for whatever the reason. Whatever the reason, we just get in sometimes in a position of just being kind of prone, kind of, stopped in our tracks. We can't do anything. We don't know how to do anything. We don't know who to do anything with or for. But yet and still, it's still that there's a realization that we're stuck. And so I decided I would go with a poem that everyone probably has heard if they were coming up and they had an English class in high school. And it's by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And of course, she was born in 1806, long before us. But she had a little idea of what love could be. And it's, it starts with, how do I love thee? That's a good question. Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and the breadth and the height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being and the ideal grace, I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and by candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as thee turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and my childhood's faith. I love thee with the love I've seen to lose. With my lost saints, I love thee with thy breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God chose, I shall but love thee better after death. To me, to say that you would love thee, let me count the ways, meaning there's so many ways to give love, so many ways to receive love, so many ways to acknowledge love. And sometimes we don't do enough to bring it to us. We sometimes push it away because we've been injured, we've been hurt, we've been bruised, not just our hearts, but our heads. And, when we were talking about, trying to let go of stuff, that would be something that maybe you could let go of. And maybe it doesn't move back to the level of the love that you had for someone before, or some things before, but it just moves to a position of being a median. You're in the middle about it, okay? You're not angry anymore. You're not hurt anymore. You're not, tearful anymore. You're like present. It's like, okay, I hear what you're saying. Thank you so much. You can acknowledge that it went sour. It went south. But you coming back to the middle ground where everything is, it's your new okay. It's your new okay, your new understanding of what it is. It's all that it's all about for you. So anyway, when we talk about love, it says love it's an interest, it's a feeling that we have, but it's of deep affection. It's deep. It's not. It doesn't leave quickly. A lot of times people can say, "I love them all my life." Okay, but it also talks about the fact that it's a goodwill, it's romance, it's passion, it's intimacy, it's concern, it's kindness, it's charity, it's care. Like usually if you listen to somebody that has raised their children and they love them deeply, they gave them everything they could, they were right there solidly with them. Well, what happened was, as they say, is they loved them. They just loved them. I can look back on my childhood and say, even though we didn't have much, we were loved. And my mother didn't show it. My mother and father didn't show it in the same way that was really like a show off of affection. Like, they would occasionally give us a hug and, occasionally give us a kiss on the cheek, but it wasn't like it was a grandstanding thing. It really wasn't. But they showed it. They showed us that they loved us by how much they cared for us and what they did for us. But they also showed us what they did for others. Remember, I think if you've heard me before, I talked about the fact that we live not too far from, I would guess you would call it like alleys. There were always alleys in New York. You could find an alley every block, 2, 3. And you didn't know who was in the alley, so my mother and father would never let us walk through the alley. But those people were invited to come by our house, and my mother and father always made sure they had a meal. They had a sandwich. If my mother cooked a huge meal, and she gave them, I knew takeout plastic long before we ever got to where we are now. But my mother would take care of folks, and my father too. My father and mother were the best cooks ever, and people would come to partake in their food. And so, you just understand that that was love. That was their way of showing love. And so it also talks about the fact that that was their way of showing goodwill and care and charity, because I think love is charitable. You feel it when you're doing something for somebody, and they don't always have to tell you thank you, but to see the looks on their faces, or to see the gratitude when they're carrying something away that they didn't have 5 minutes ago, that's beautiful. And I cherish those times, and I don't always tell people I do it, but I love doing that. I will go and just see who I can help, and I do it, and then I go on back to my house. I come on back home. Even during this time now, I've known some people that have needed some stuff, and I've done what I could do. But you know what I do? I'm going to break down the word. So the L of love is loyal. And loyal, of course, is giving or showing firm and constant support or allegiance. That's what love is. Love is loyal. Like there's a loyalness to want to do goodwill, to want to do kindness, to want to be kind, to want to be devoted. It says loyalty is also faithfulness. It's your truth. It's your steady. It's your trustworthiness. It's your dependability. It's your steadfastness. All those things talk about the loyalty that you want to do for others. And sometimes you have to be loyal to yourself. Like when something is saying, I don't need to do that anymore, guess what? You don't have to do it. Don't do it. It's okay. It's all right. Because sometimes you realize that your loyalty is not matched. It's not reciprocated. So you understand that, wow, even though I'm loyal, they're not loyal to me. Even when you look at, in fact, we were listening last night, my daughter and I, to the TV, and it was talking about how the new guys on the police force in Minneapolis, where, George Ford lost his life, the rookies were, they're coming up and saying, well, we tried to say something, but we're talking to somebody that's been on the force for years. And so if they've been on the force for years and we're trying to tell them something, we're the rookies. Who listens to a greenhorn? Who listens to me because I'm new? And sometimes you have to ask yourself that, where is your loyalty? Where is it? Where is it? Don't know. But if somebody wrote me back, bring them a camera. That's the truth. That is the truth. The next thing is being obligated. That's the O of love. Obligated. To be in love, or to know love, the love of your children, your parents, your friends, your family, your job, the projects you do. There's obligation there. Trust me on that. You're obligated. Even sometimes when you don't want to be obligated, the heart will pull you. The head will pull you. Your body will pull you. Next thing you know, you're over there trying to help them. Even though they may not be always deserving of the help you're obligated to give. Okay. So do what you can. Do what you can. Keep your, as they say, keep your balance about yourself, but understand with obligation, you've committed. You've obliged somebody. You're constrained because you're going to do it. You've committed. You're bound. There's a binding there, and you've made up your mind that you're going to make it happen. That's obligation. That's what is obligated. And that's the O of love. We're obligated, and sometimes it takes us forever to get out of what we've obligated ourselves to, because sometimes the heart does not do what the head needs to tell it to do. Even if it's told it will still go on out there, get bruised again, battered again, by the same individual or individuals, because sometimes we have multiple hurts from people, and we need to acknowledge it. We just do. Okay, let's go on. Now it's the V. The V of love is the value. What is the value of you? What is it? The value. And value talks about the regard that something is held to, basically of great importance. It's valuable. Or it has no value, because to me, value is one of those words that can be expanded on, left and right, up and down. And sometimes you realize when something has no value, it's flatlined. It's dead to you. You're not going to do it anymore. You've made up your mind that your value is much more of worth than putting yourself out or in a position where it's not appreciated, not really accepted, or accepted but not rightly, shown great gratitude or any gratitude at all. So value really talks about a person's principle to the standards of their behavior. Your behavior. So what is your value? You have to ask yourself. And value is also, it's a merit. It's the worth. It's the use of something. It's basically practicality. And sometimes we're not as practical as we give something value for. I'm just saying. Benefit. It's the gain. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, what's in the balance? Am I giving more away, or am I gaining something in return? Or is there no gain? And sometimes you don't have to get anything in return to still be of great value because you feel it. It's not anything that can be dealt with as a gift of money or a present of some sort. No. Sometimes it's just how you feel about it when you were giving it away. That's good. That's good value. But it talks about it also being a helpfulness and of a service and and offering assistance. That's value, and that's a value of love. That's what love does to us. We're going to give it high value, especially if we've made them the king and queen, the crowned one, the it factor, the only one. Sometimes we've given it great value, much more value than we've even given ourselves. And so we have to acknowledge that. I don't think anybody should be valued more than me. If anything, we're going to be equal. That's what I'd like. That would be certainly what I would like. Don't know. The next one it talks about is enrich. That's the E of love, enrich. And it says improve or enhance the quality of value. There it is again. And it's also sometimes considered people's wealthiness. So you sometimes just have to sit and ask yourself, is my life enriched, or have I enriched someone else's life? And I think enrichment is good. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a good thing. And let me say this to you. I hope when I'm going through these that you're writing them down. And I want to go through my 4 S's. I appreciate you scrolling. I acknowledge in my heart the fact that you stopped, and then you stayed. I love that. But most of all, I am absolutely over the moon when you absolutely share this. So if you would all share this would be wonderful. And then it would get in another stream of people that can hear that God is blessing me to attempt on every day to come out and bless you, Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday I'm off. I do take my Saturdays and Sundays to myself. In fact, I'm refreshing myself so that on Monday I'll have something else that's good. But anyway, so enrich talks about it's to enhance, to exalt, to augment, to heighten, to intensify, to lift, to refine, to raise, to upgrade. That's all enrich. That's our ability to form enrichment of our lives and enrichment of others' lives, because that's what enrichment is. Enrichment in some places, in some instances, when we talk about someone being enriched, they have a lot of money. So it could look at wealthiness, but the average persons like you and me, we are making it. But it's not as if we're sitting, someplace in, a 18-room mansion, and we have butlers and maids and chauffeurs, and we don't have that going on. Life is normal for us. This is our normal. That's their normal. And they didn't give them a lot of those people, but they gave them enough. But to me, that's where you would see enrichment coming from. So when I see people of great wealth sharing, giving something to others who do not have or have far less, I love it. I really think that their heart has been touched and that there's love there. And so we really want to talk about the fact that love is important. We live for it every day. We would love to see it happen. We love it, but it doesn't always happen, or it might come and it doesn't stay long. And then some of us have it and don't realize it because we're steadily mistreating it. And then we don't realize it is. They say, well, you never miss anything until it's gone. It's that kind of thing. But in terms of our questions today, we have 4. The first one is, do you love yourself? That's your question. And a follow-up to that question, how about others? Because we don't want us to love ourselves so much that we don't see others, we don't acknowledge others, we don't recognize others. We need to do it all. We don't live in this world by ourselves. And I think you can love people even through distancing. I find that I when I'm writing people back on social media, I have a tendency. Now you will always see I love putting love out there, so I very seldom use like. I love what I'm doing. If I'm going to respond to you, I generally respond to you with love. Some I have like because it doesn't require that I say love, or that doesn't my heart doesn't tell me to say love. But some I just love to just let them know that even though I can't see you, even though I'm not with you, I love you. I love you. And the last thing is like, how do you show love? That's all under that first question. That was actually a 1, 2, 3 kicker. Okay. Do you love yourself? Do you love others? And how do you show love? Question number 2. What are you obligated to currently? What are you obligated to? What people? What places? What things? Obligation. Because sometimes we don't know we're obligated and we are. We don't know that we really needed to do something and we didn't. We don't. Number 3. And the other thing it says, and who are you obligated to? Obviously if you're a mother with young children, the obligation is there. Husband, wife, obligation is there that you would, constantly keep each other, what I would say nestled properly, that you're showing it, you're appreciating it, you acknowledge it. My counseling days used to always tell me when I had couples coming in that the balance was off. He wanted more than she could give because she was obligated elsewhere. The job was demanding. He still needed her in ways that she was always, by the time she got home, she was just exhausted. And so sometimes you also have to talk about, there's a little more give here and a little more take there. And so, the scale moves up and down. It's not just, that it's always on high. Sometimes it has to be, I can only give so much. I'm recovering from surgery or I'm working from home and there's a handicap with that or whatever that might be, that just says I'm overwhelmed. I have too much going on. I can't obligate as much as I was doing before, but I'm coming back. You always have to plant the seed that soon as this thing is over, I'm right back there. We got this. Question number 3. What value do you place on love for your people, yourself, things, and projects? What value do you place? And sometimes the value placed on one thing kind of overrides everything else. Everything. You don't get to anything else because you're too busy with the obligation of one person, one project. Sometimes it could be yourself, things, whatever. What are they? And the last question, is your life one of enrichment? Do you feel you have an enriched life? Do you feel that you are wealthy even though you don't have much money, or even though you have just enough? Do you feel you are still wealthy? I do. I feel I'm wealthy because I can see, I can hear, I can move. Those to me are important, and so I feel I'm wealthy. I don't have much money, but I'm not broke. I'm not destitute. I can still pay my bills. And so therefore I am blessed. I am blessed with that enrichment that, I feel God gave me. He gave me that ability. And I retired 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I left the government. And so to me, actually 6, the end of 14, yeah, 6 years. So there you go. That'll just tell you that he's provided for me. So I'm very happy about the love that he's given me to give to others, to realize that I should feel that I am wealthy. I should feel that my life is enriched because it is. I should feel that I am loved because I am, and I am able to give it. I understand my value as well as the other people that I value, or the projects that I'm involved in, or the different things that I do. I love it. I love it, and of course, I'm obligated. All those things fall up under this umbrella that I gave love this morning. Are you loving who you are? Are you understanding what you have as this gift of life? Because we weren't all given it, equally. And, some of us were, born without eyes. Some of us were born with the inability to hear or to move, So do you acknowledge the fact of gratefulness and all of that? I do. I do for myself. So anyway, I'm hoping that you have a day that is filled with love. I certainly want to talk about the fact that this just came to me last night. I said, I have to talk about love because I got to see it yesterday and acknowledge the fact that that even though it's a feeling, it's also it's like a vital thing that goes on in the brain and the heart, the body. You just feel it. You realize it, that it's important to do it. It's important to be there. It's important to receive it. And so I hope all of you receive it. But I'm not going to read the poem again, but I'm just going to tell you, How Do I Love Thee by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, born in 1806, long before us. Read that poem today. Read it to somebody, and it's a short poem, so read it to somebody they may kind of enjoy the fact that you're saying, let me count the ways, because there's too many. There's too many things that I could say about the love I have for you. And then tell it to yourself. There are too many ways that you can say about the love you have for yourself, And then when we break down love, we want to look at what it does for you, that feeling, that kindness, that affection, looking at the fact that it forms loyalty, it forms obligation, it forms value, and it forms one to be enriched if you know love. And the questions again are, do you love yourself and others, and how do you show it? What are you obligated to, and to whom are you obligated to? What value do you place on love for people, yourself, things, projects, etc.? And lastly, is your life one of enrichment? Do you feel that you are wealthy even though you're not rich, even though you're not a millionaire or a billionaire or even a six-figured person? Are you loved? I love you. I'm going to tell you that right now. I appreciate you. I think this is just a grand opportunity that has been given to me, and I took up the challenge, and here I am with you every day. I'm hoping that you would have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Enjoy it. Look at finding love in the beauty that you see and the people that you know, and the things that you may complete over the weekend. Find it and just sign it off as love. I'm going to sign off with you right now. And I do love you. I hope to see you Monday. Don't know what my topic is, but I'll try to announce it. It may be, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. But anyway, I am sure about you. See you Monday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time on Facebook Live. Or you can go to my YouTube channel and you can see all these videos which are there as a collective form of Are You Stuck? And yes, we are all stuck. Bye-bye. Thank you.